I give it a minute until I can see that you are indeed here. Oh, that's interesting. There's been an update on Prism, and I can see much more information. I think I can see my internet speed as well as the sound of my voice. Hi, Trish. Let me know in the chat that you can hear me properly. We've got about 9 minutes before to start. If any of you have just clicked on this live stream and you don't know what you're watching, we'll go for a live walk in Cusco, in Peru. We've got about 9 or 8 minutes before to start. We're literally just waiting for everyone to connect. You can see and hear me well. Perfect. Thank you, Tish. You know the drill. I'm going to test the microphone. I'm going to tap it 3 times. You tell me in the chat if you've heard it. I do apologize in advance. The microphone is, well, it cost me about £3, 15 soles. So it might not be the best quality. As some of you might know from Facebook, my microphone got stolen in a night bus in Ecuador. So not here in Peru. It was in Ecuador between Baños and Quito. So yeah, I had to run on, try to find another microphone for the tour. You've heard it perfect. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully the microphone is going to be good enough for the trip. Once I get back to London, I'm going to have to buy another good one because, you know, we've got crazy winds in the UK. This one wouldn't do the job in crazy winds. But hopefully that'll be good enough for now. Hi, Carol. And Emily. Nice to see you here. We still have a few minutes before to start. We're waiting for everyone to connect. If any of you were completely new to me, let us know in the chat. It's always great to see some new names. We'll be going for a live walk in Cusco. I've only been here for a few days. I was in the jungle before. So still in Peru, on the jungle side. So very different temperature. Hi, Pauline. Nice to see you here. And Cheryl is here as well. Hello. Let me see how many minutes we've got. 5 minutes to be precise. 5 minutes before we go for a little walk. Do you like my new jumper? Allegedly alpaca. That's rubbish. I had to buy some clothes because a lot of my clothes got stolen in the night bus as well. Not even a night bus. I wasn't even sleeping. I was well awake and well aware. But I was looking at people maybe fiddling with the bags. Never did I imagine that they would grab the bag, take it to the back of the bus, empty it. Literally, when I grabbed the bag, it was just so light. I knew everything was gone. So never did I imagine they would take it to the back of the bus, go through the bag, take everything of interest. Well, of interest. I think they've done it in the dark because otherwise they wouldn't have stolen my night guard or my prescription glasses, you know. And then they put the lock back on, unless they did. I don't know how they managed to open it because it was locked anyway. And then they put it back. Quite a professional job. But yeah, I had to buy some clothing. And this allegedly alpaca, all over the city, you see people buying or selling those alpaca jumpers. The vast majority of them are fake. It's synthetic from China. This one was bought in allegedly one of those where they actually make it, you know. I was on a tour. They took us to a little workshop with some local ladies explaining how they produce it and how they cut it from the alpaca and how they dye it and everything. I mean, I did get a good price, which was maybe a bit too good for alpaca, but 2 days later I went on another tour when they took us to another workshop where they trained us on spotting the fake and the not fakes. And they were like, yeah, this is fake. When it comes from the little town where they're meant to be producing all those alpaca stuff. Hi, Elena, and welcome anyone that just joined. We still have a few minutes before to start. We are waiting for everyone to connect. And I'm really glad the signal is good so far. I did chat to Mike today. A lot of you might remember Mike from Cusco. He used to stream on Hego. I wasn't able to meet up with him because he's had doctor appointment this afternoon, and before that he was in Titicaca, and I'm going to Titicaca tonight. But he did warn me that a few of the spots I'm planning to take you today actually do have a bad signal. So finger crossed. Hopefully it's improved since, or maybe on a different network it might be different. Let's see. Let's pray to the gods of the internet. So if any of you were watching me on replay and you're not here with the live, but you watching the replay in a few days, if you have any micro cuts, that could be what happens. It could be a micro signal cut. Yes, I'm sure he still is. Yeah. Let me see how long. So, so we've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes before it's officially time to go. And we'll start with a view. Yeah, the fake alpacas. Yeah, it's definitely all for tourists. I mean, Cusco is great, but a lot of the historical city center is just shops and shops and shops and shops and shops. I mean, it's a very touristy city because it is, of course, the gateway into Machu Picchu. I did not go into Machu Picchu. Too expensive, if you ask me. Not the entrance itself, but the train tickets. It's ridiculously expensive. What time is it? It's gonna be 5:30 p.m. It is actually. Let me see. 1 minute. So it is 5:29 p.m. Hi Nikki, nice to see you here. Welcome everyone. We still have 1 minute, 1 minute before to start. Cindy, the temperature, that's a good question. It was warm. It changes very, very quickly here. Um, Daytime can be quite warm when the sun is there, but it is the rainy season. That's why I did not go to places like the Seven Color Mountains and stuff, because you could do 3 hours on a bus and then get there and see absolutely nothing because it's grey and rainy. Um, so we've had some rain, but we've not been too unlucky so far for the season. I from Canada. Nice to see you, Martin, and nice to see every one of you. Let's see if it is officially time. It is indeed 5:30. Let's go, guys. So anyone new to me, I'm Natalie. Um, I'm obviously, you can probably tell from my accent, I'm not from here. So although I've done my homework and I will tell you the snippets of history I've learned along the way. Hello. Hello. I'll just we'll just go for a casual little walk. I do not claim to be an expert into Inca history or any of that. Right, let's flip the camera around and let's go. So we are at the viewpoint of San Cristobal. From here, we've got a nice overview of the city. You see the two churches there. That's Plaza de Armas, also known as Plaza Mayor. It's the proper historical center, and we should finish. Well, depending on the signal, I'm hoping to finish somewhere down there in San Blas to finish with another view, or at least another. Well, hopefully with another viewpoint. Although I have been warned that the signal might not be amazing down there. And let me show you what's behind me. So this is the church of, well, I think it's a museum now, but that's San Cristobal. And down this way, not far, there's a archaeological site known as, well, I don't even know the name, but it sounds like Sexy Woman. It's not, it's Sexy Woman now, but it sounds like Sexy Woman. It's a place where they used to do sacrifices. They used to sacrifice llamas, would you believe, on 21st of June. And so it's just behind the hill there. Hi, Cynthia, and welcome everyone that just joined. Now you've just missed it, but a few minutes ago, when the sun was still here, you also had a couple of people dressed up as Inca leaders. You know, the type of people that come and charge you for a photograph, which I did not do, but they looked very, very good. Their costume were quite cool. Hi, Linda. Hi, Ronnie. Welcome everyone, and let's go for a little walk in Cusco. Hopefully, Well, you let me know. If you can, try to keep the chat active so I know straight away if the signal go away. Because if the signal goes away, I need to stop talking. Now we're going down into town. We'll actually go down towards Plaza de Armas down there, but we'll do a little detour because I want to show you a non-haunted house. You'll see there's a sign that says it is not haunted. But when you have to put a sign on a building saying it is definitely not haunted, well, it might be because it is haunted. I'll tell you the full story as we get there. Hi, Diane. And yes, I'm traveling. I'll be back soon. I'll be back in the UK on the 25th or 24th, maybe. I think I'm flying on the 24th and I'll get there on the 25th. So not much left. Look at those lovely little streets. We're not going down that way, but Cusco is amazing with those little traditional streets. It's a very old city. It's actually an Inca city, but of course the Spanish destroyed a lot of the Inca stuff to rebuild some churches and stuff like that. So that's quite sad, but they've actually destroyed a lot of the Inca stuff to take the stones. And they burned the mummies, because the Incas, they used to have a lot of mummies as well. Hi, Ben. Actually, the Plaza de Armas that we've just seen, we're going down there anyway, but I think that's where they burned a lot of the mummies because they believed it was heresy, of course. I have seen a few mummies today in the museum. There are a lot of museums in Cusco. You can buy a pass to access some of the archaeological sites anyway. You need to buy an entrance. So it turns up being much cheaper to buy a pass. I paid for the full pass. That includes pretty much everything apart from Machu Picchu. 130 soles for foreigners, which it's not bad at all, to be honest. And then you can access a lot of the museums for free. Well, not for free, but included. So I have seen a few of the surviving mummies today, but there are not many because a lot of the Spanish burned them. The Inca mummies, they're quite different from the Egyptian mummies, for example, because the Egyptians, they are laying down, you know. The Incas believed in reincarnation. So the important people that were mummified, they would be placed in a fetal position to be ready for their new life. The rainbow, that's the color of the flag, the Cusco flag. But we'll get back, we'll talk about the flag once we see one, because you'll see it's a very interesting flag. It actually looks very much like the LGBT flag. But I'll show you, we'll find some. There are some Cusco flags everywhere. Now you might wonder why I'm taking you into that boring street. It's only to access the haunted house. You've been to the Gold Museum? Yes, I know the one you're talking about. Well, I'll show you where that is. You'll tell me, Tina, if it's the same. There was a gold temple. There's no gold anymore. Of course, the Spanish took everything. The Incas, they had a lot of gold, but they didn't have money. I mean, they didn't have a money system. They would exchange, potatoes for a piece of llama meat or whatever, and also they would pay their taxes. So I'm gonna wait because it's a bit noisy. Yeah, the Incas, they would pay their taxes with labor. So everyone had to do some free labor for the government every so often. So they didn't have money until the Spanish came. But the Spanish obviously stole all the gold. But I'll show you where that museum is. There's actually a museum as well as the church, because they found some Inca remains in the church. By the way, apologies in advance if today I speak maybe a bit less than usual. At some point I will have to focus on my breathing. It's well, we are at three. I think it's nearly 3,400. Well, the city center is 3,400 altitude meters. Don't ask me how many feet that would be, but it's very high, so there's not a lot of oxygen. So at some point, especially when we go up a bit, I'll have to focus on breathing a bit. I've been lucky so far. I've not suffered from any altitude issues, but a lot of people do. It can be a bit tricky. Exactly, Spanish gold and tobacco. The Incas had a lot of gold. They even had gold on the mummies. Actually, that's how a lot of mummies were discovered, because some of the mummies were put into, don't know how to describe it, kind of like little window cases in the mountains, and some grave robbers, you might say, were actually looking for gold with metal detectors and stuff, and that's how some mummies were found. The more recent ones, the older ones that were found at the time of the Spanish, they were all burnt because that was heresy. I'm gonna try to go down the side over here because I don't want to be killed. Now, the haunted house, we'll see it very shortly. There's one building here in Cusco that is said to be haunted. As always, with the cases of, thank you, Nikki, little alcoves, yes. That's the term I was looking for, exactly. Oh, Tina, then that's not the one that's not the one I'm talking about then, because I was talking about the one that was at the Gold Temple. So that's probably a different one. I didn't go to all the museums. There are quite a few. A llama would have to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Well, you know what, Tish, what happened with llamas, talking about llamas, we had some crime fighting llamas in the UK, in Derbyshire. Did any of you see that in the news a few days ago? So what happened is very funny. There's in a village, Norman, anyway, in Derbyshire somewhere. There's a lady that was robbed a lot of packets of tobacco on the street by a guy that was, I think, a 30 years old guy that he literally snapped the tobacco and ran off. The police was on his case, so he's being chased by the police, right? And he's actually run into a farm. He jumped over the fence, and hold on, let me try to get back down the road here. He jumped over the fence and ran into the field when 8 llamas. I think I've got a photo just to show you. Yeah, there she is, with the lady with her llamas. So this lady in the UK had 8 llamas, and would you believe llamas don't like intruders, So the 8 llamas actually surrounded the guy, the criminal, the robber, and he was on the floor. Llamas, when they cry or when they shout for attention, it sounds a bit like an old man laughing. So let me remove the llamas. The husband ran to see what was wrong with the llamas, and he found the guy on the floor being petrified, surrounded by the 8 llamas. At that point, the guy doesn't know the guy is a criminal. So he was like, okay, I'll take you back down to the main road. Why did you jump into my property? And then when he took the guy back down to the main road, the police was waiting for him. So it is thanks to that crime fighting llamas in the UK that the guy was caught by the police. That was just a few days ago. I don't know if, sometimes you see those news articles popping up on Facebook, and I'm like, do they know I'm in Peru? Do they know I care about llamas these days, or does everyone else get it, even in the UK? Anyway, let's stop talking about llamas for now, because we might say hello to a few later on. And let me show you the haunted house. I don't know if you can read from here, but it says, Esta no es una casa embrujada. Embrujada, it's haunted. I think it could, it could also mean wicked to an extent, but I mean, in that case, it's haunted. Do not trespass. Well, do not get in without authorization. Now, to write on a building that it is not haunted, it might be that it is. Let's go and take a look a bit closer. So what happened with the house is that it has been abandoned for, we believe, at least 70 years. The beginning of the story is a bit mysterious. It is said that there was a murder in there. It is said that there's a feminicide, a gentleman that, well, a gentleman, no, a guy that killed his lover. He was in a jealous rage and he killed her. We don't have many documents. I mean, the murder is not well documented, but some journalists did mention it like if it was real. So let's admit that it was real. Then the house stood empty for many, many years. Hello, doggy. There's a stray doggy here eating from the bins. So yeah, the house was empty, and obviously, when you have an empty building, you have some squatters or people trying to step in, and that's exactly what happened. And it is said that a lot of them had some terrible paranormal experiences. They could hear some cries and some noises. So much so that apparently in the 90s, it was very often used for parties, squatters that would come for a party and get drunk or high, or don't know what they were taking. And those people on drugs or at least on alcohol also had some bad experiences. And they heard some noises and temperature changes and stuff like that. So much so that apparently 3 of them ended up in a mental health institution here in Cusco. So I didn't dare to go inside. I don't want to end up in prison anyway. I mean, it's definitely not allowed. So this is more. I mean, until now, the story is a bit of an urban myth, What we do know definitely happened. We are now in 2013. There was a guy that was caught in Chile, so he's not from here. He's not from Peru. He was the leader of a sect. His name was Ramon Castillo. Well, let's say he had a lot of followers, and he had been caught. He had been convicted actually of killing a little one. Sorry, this is horrible, but he basically threw a little boy into the fire. It is believed to be his boy, about 3 years old. So what happened is him and his followers in the sect, they believed that the baby or the toddler was the Antichrist. Anyway, horrible story. The guy was convicted in Chile, and he managed to escape the authorities. And about a year later, he was found here in the haunted house, hanged. So he had unalived himself. Some people believe that it's the house that make him do it. So people believe that the house has some kind of horrible curse or whatever. Well, I'm just gonna cross over. Yeah, the first crime is the worst, really. The sect. I don't know how many followers he had, but the sect was called the sorry, I didn't see a little rope or a little chain. I'm gonna go down here. The sect was called the colonial sect, and I mean, it's unbelievable how some people can convince people of such atrocities. That a little boy is the Antichrist. But yeah, that's what they've done. Anyway, that was the story of the haunted house for you. Very creepy indeed. I don't even know why it's still standing. They could just demolish it and I don't know, build something new. Anyway, let's go down towards the historical city center. You'd go into the house to scream at him. Yes, that'll be good. I don't even know how they know for sure that it is self-inflicted. You know, I'm trying not to say the S word on YouTube. Well, you know what? I think I'm probably not even allowed to say the word sect either. Sometimes on YouTube you have to be careful with your vocabulary. Oh, perfect. We were gonna talk about the flag. Let me show you. There's a flag there. So the first one, it's the flag of Peru. The white one in between, I don't even know what it is. And anyway, the one that looks like the LGBT one, that's the Cusco flag. So it is a rainbow, and it was adopted in 1978, same as the LGBT flag, actually, same year. The LGBT flag, I think it's 78 as well in San Francisco. A guy called Baker that designed it. The Cusco flag, officially, they claim it's much older. You see the rainbow colors on many things related to the Inca, but apparently there's no evidence that the Inca ever used the rainbow. So we don't really know why the rainbow colors. I'm just gonna cross over, bear with me. You have to be very careful down here when crossing the road. Even when you are right, you have to be careful, because some people don't stop. Sometimes you're waiting forever. Anyway, yeah, some even claim, there's no evidence of that either, but some even claim that the 7 colors were for the 7 chakras. And I did see a stone store the other day when they had all the chakras, and it was also a rainbow. And anyway, let me show you the flags. So, there we go. The golden sun was only added in I think 2021. So originally they looked very similar indeed, but the Cusco has one more shade of blue. The LGBT has only 6 colors on the rainbow, when Cusco has a light blue. Let me just remove the flag. And actually, let me show you. Now they are even more different because, of course, the gay community has, or the LGBTQA plus community has done a progressive LGBTQ flag to add the asexual and the intersex and all that. So now they look a bit different because Cusco has the new sun and the LGBT has the new progressive triangle with the new colors. So now you can see them a bit or differentiate them a bit better. What color are they, Tish? Do you mean the asexuals? I think the asexuals are the brown. Don't quote me on that. And the intersex, I think it's the little hello. The intersex, I think it's the little circle in the yellow. It's getting very complicated now. There are so many, I mean, no offense to anyone that describe themselves as demisexual or semisexual or whatever, but it's all, I mean, there are so many that mean exactly the same, you know. Well, at least to me, you know, like how do you call it, sapiosexual. Well, technically, sapiosexual can be more than bisexual because they could be attracted to trans. But anyway, it's all very complicated nowadays. Right, let's go down towards the city center. Here is a taxi. The taxis are not too expensive in Cusco. We've only taken one because we had to go down to the airport very early to go into the jungle. But it's affordable as opposed to many cities. Are there a lot of stray dogs there? Tina, there are some, but not as many as I've seen in some countries, you know, compared to, let's say, the Philippines. It's nothing. There are a few, but not too many. And some of them, they look stray, but they also look like nice, maybe not pedigree, but like nice races. So they might not actually be stray. They might just be hanging around. You can see the flag again up there with the Machu Picchu, the Peru flag, and the Cusco flag. You like the wine, not the label. Yes, exactly. So that would be like sapiosexuals. Anyway, let's go down to the. Oh, see, we are talking about stray dogs. There are six coming in one go. Just when I said there are not too many, suddenly six. So clearly there are quite a few. But they're not really coming to beg for food when you are at a restaurant or anything. They've not been as intrusive as they can be in some countries, let's say. You see a lot of street sellers as well everywhere. Some of the street food is very good, actually. And I'm still very glad the signal stayed with us, because Mike was telling me the signal is not very good down this road. So we've done well. Now, let me show you a public toilet. So that's quite convenient to have as well. And statues. We have a few llamas around here. This is not a llama, this is a lady, but there are some llamas down there. The llamas, by the way, so they're cousins of the camels, to an extent. They're the same family of species. We mainly think about the llamas, but there are 4 different species. Here are 2 little llamas. Well, actually, no, I think they are llamas. The alpacas, so the llamas they have the hair going up, and the alpacas, it's a bit going, kind of going back. Now, we know a lot of the llamas. Oh, actually, no, those might have been alpacas, those 2 little ones, because I can see a llama down there. Llamas are usually, they have a longer neck, the llamas. Here they are. Those, I'm pretty sure, are llamas, because the neck is much longer. We might see some live ones in a moment, but at least we've seen the statues. So you've got the llamas, you've got the alpacas. Those are the ones you would see in town because they've been domesticated. But you also have the vicuña, as well as the guacano. No, guanaco, I think it's called. The vicuñas, they also have very, very nice hair. If you want to buy a jumper, vicuña it's probably 3 times more than baby alpaca. I don't think I've even looked at vicuña, but it's very expensive to have a poncho or a jumper made with vicuña. Now, I've not seen a live vicuña, but let me show you one vicuña. Or bicuña, as they might say here, because the V's over here are often pronounced as a B. So bicuñas. I think I had a nice coin somewhere. Hold on. I'm just going to look into my bag for a nice little coin to show you the vicuña. Bear with me. Sorry, I've got only one hand and I'm struggling to get my coin. Bear with me 1 sec. Yes, I've got it. So, see the little, let's see until the camera focuses. On the little crest in the middle, you see a tree, and there, that's a vicuña. Let me show you. I've got a photo. It's going to be a bit clearer on a picture. See on the crest in the middle, you see a little, it looks like an alpaca, but it's not. It's a vicuña. So you've got those 4 different species, but only the alpacas and the llamas have been domesticated. And the alpaca, you can eat them. It's actually a traditional meat to eat alpaca. I have tried. I've not. My friend tried, so I've had a bite of alpaca. What I haven't tried, and I will not try, it's the cuy. C-U-Y. It's the guinea pig. That's also a very traditional food. It's It's something very typical, but I do not eat cute little mammals. I don't even eat rabbits. In France, my mom used to cook rabbit. I've always refused to eat a rabbit. They're just too cute. Sometimes she tried to make me believe it was chicken, but I could see it wasn't chicken. So I don't want to eat guinea pig either. Now, this is the Plaza de Armas. We'll come back down here because there's quite a lot to show you or to tell you about in the Plaza de Armas. But let's just go down this side so you see another little square first. By the way, the street we've just gone down, the Safi Street, well, I think it's actually pronounced Sapi, but it's a PH. That was the site of a river. It's been covered up. It's still running underground. But yeah, there was a river that was, let me show you the magnets are really cool, but they're all AI nowadays, those magnets. And you see a lot of those jumpers everywhere. I did have to buy two. I bought the one I've got on me today on a proper fleece because I had a fleece that got stolen. That's the only warm stuff I had. And I'm going down to Bolivia, so it's going to be very cold. It's going to be like 0 Celsius in Uyuni and stuff. So I had to buy some warm clothes. And one is not alpaca, it is sheep. And I believe it's actually sheep. Now you see the flag again, the Cusco flag. You can see they've got the sun in the middle. But if you didn't know, I mean, the first time I landed, I was like, oh, why is there gay flags everywhere? No, thank you. No, thank you. Oops. Anyway, so that's another nice little square. And then we'll go down to Plaza de Armas. Plaza de Armas was actually an Inca square. Here at the time of the Inca, it was called the Happy Square for some reason. And on the other side, it was the main ceremonial square. That's where we're heading to. Now, on the main square, we often do celebrations, of course. That's where the Incas used to celebrate the sun. But very often on the main square, it's also where we do public executions. And of course, that was also the case with Plaza de Armas. There have been quite a few people beheaded there. I am very impressed with the signal so far. We're very lucky. We might have a good signal all the way. Who knows? Let me show you the stuff we've done. I've not done that. Well, actually, I've not done any of it. Oh yeah. Hola. Thank you. No, I've not done any of this. I've done the Valle Sagrada. So that's a full day excursion when you go and see a lot of Inca sites. Anyway, quick stop here. This is a map of Cusco. We started somewhere down here. We were. This is a sexy woman, the one that we don't know how to pronounce, but it sounds like sexy woman. So that it actually means head of the puma, because you can see the city of Cusco. So this is the Inca city. That's in the shape of a puma. You have the head up there and the tail down there. The puma was a sacred animal. And the street we've just come down here, you can see it says Rio Safi. So the haunted house is somewhere down here. So we've just gone basically down the river. And let's go down to Plaza de Armas. So yeah, executions. Well, actually, first, before I forget, we were talking about couille. I think it's pronounced couille, which is very funny in French, because in French, couille is a testicle. I mean, it's like a noted term for testicle, so I find it very funny to eat couille. Anyway, I've not eaten couille, but that's the guinea pig. And in the church there, so that's the main cathedral. They have a very interesting painting. It is a representation of the Last Supper. Let me show you the painting, actually. Oh, I thought I had it. Yeah, here it is. So you can see the Last Supper. This is not actually from a Spanish artist. It's from a local artist that was trained in the School of Art over here. It is. Can you see anything unusual on the table? Usually with the Last Supper, you'd have. It's just bread and water, isn't it? They don't have meat, do they? No, I think it's just bread and water on the Last Supper. This is the artist Marcos Zapata, pardon, Zapata, 1753, I think it was. And did you notice there's a guinea pig on the table? And this is, I've not been into the church, you have to pay, but this is actually in the church. And it's very interesting that, yeah, exactly, Tish. It's a guinea pig on the table of the Last Supper. It's very interesting that the Spanish allowed that. You know, we are at the time of the Spanish Inquisition and all that. But they did that to convert people. You know, they let some local artists introduce some of their. It looks gross. Yes, well, I've seen some cooking on like a brooch. It does look a bit. Bah. It's just any animal. When you see the full animal, I'm a bit like, oh, you know. Anyway, yeah, it's very interesting that the Spanish allowed this type of representation, but it's because they wanted to convert people. For example, here, there's a lot of representation of angels. You know, in Europe, angels would have white wings. Here, they have very colorful wings, you know, red and yellow. It's because here they know about parakeets from the jungle, and they know about very colorful bird. So the Spanish actually let them introduce a little bit of their culture into very typical Christian representations. Anyway, that's an Inca leader up there. I think it's fairly new. I think it used to be another leader before that. And talking about the executions, let me show you the site of a grave. Thank you. Well, not really a grave, because the body was actually placed at different. Part of the bodies were spread into different parts of the country. It is the grave of a rebellious leader. Let me show you. There's not much to see, but can you see the all those yellow, orange flowers there? It is said to be the grave, or at least the resting place, even if the body is not there, of Tupac Amaru II. Not to be confused with Tupac Amaru I. Tupac Amaru I, he was well, kind of like the last Inca emperor, really. You know, when the Spanish arrived, of course, they took over the Incas had already been ravaged by a disease. You know, we believe it to be a smallpox. You know, when the Spanish arrived, they arrived with their viruses and their bacteria, and the local community didn't have much of a resistance or an immunity towards it. So exactly, Don Pulto. So I was getting to there. Do you remember Tupac, the rapper in the 90s? I think he's from New York, isn't he? He was actually named or renamed because his mother renamed him a few days after his birth. He was actually renamed Tupac Amaru after this Tupac that was executed here. His parents were part of the Black Panther movement, you know, in the US. And Tupac, well, I'll tell you his full story in a moment, but Tupac Amaru, both of them were actually fighting against discrimination and against colonialism. So the rapper Tupac is actually named after this Tupac that was killed here. Now, Tupac the second, he actually went to school down there. See, that's a school there. It's an old school. There's another guy that was killed here. We'll talk about him in a moment. But he lived on the yellow building just next to it. Diego de Almagro. But let's go down the street and I'll tell you about all those executions. So Tupac the first, he was like the last Inca leader. We're going back to the 16th century. You know, when the Spanish arrived, they didn't completely destroy the Incas. There was a bit of a neo-Inca community. They were kind of excluded into villages. Let me cross while I can. Um, so yeah, there was a little Inca community that was in a village called Vilcabamba, and Tupac, so Tupac the first, he wasn't meant to become a king or an emperor or a chief. He was meant to be a priest. His brother was meant to be the leader, but his brother died, so he went from being a priest to become the leader, and he refused to convert to the lady wants. Do you want a little photo with a baby? Is it a baby alpaca? Yes. If you want, we can go and see the lady down there. I'm going to have to give her a little tip, but we can go and I'll tell you about the executions later on. Hello. ¿Cuánto año tiene él? Un mes, no. ¿Qué es? ¿Es una alpaca? ¿Una qué? Ah. Should we do a selfie with them? Let's see. Hola.
Una foto, ¿ven?
You. Oh, so cute. Hello. Okay. No worries. So, before I tell you about those executions, let me show you something. There are many streets here that have different names. The little street here is actually known as Calle Loreto. And if you go down here, you see the name in Quechua. It's actually called I cannot say it, Itikinjulu. So there are a lot of streets with different names. So when you ask direction and stuff, you can easily get confused between the two names. Now, to my left, it's actually you actually have some Inca walls, but we'll talk about the Inca architecture a little bit later on if the signal stays with us. For now, let's go back to Tupac. So Tupac Amaru I, he was kind of exiled in a village, but he was still an Inca ruler, refusing to convert. And that's exactly the time when the Spanish decided to stop giving any independence really or any authority to those Inca rulers. So he had a pregnant wife and he escaped to the jungle. And he was hiding in the jungle when he was betrayed. There's a local chief that told the Spanish authorities. So Tupac was taken. There's a priest, a Catholic priest, that asked him to convert. They forced his wife to watch, and he was asked to convert, and he just shook his head. He was beheaded. So that's Tupac Amaru I. That was actually his name. Tupac Amaru II, he had another name, but he went with the name Tupac. So we're jumping another about 2 centuries, really. Let's see if the little square is open. Yeah, let's go down this side. You'll see more llamas, but we're not going to get too close because I don't have much money to... it's my last day in Peru, so I don't have much local money to give them. So Tupac Amaru II, he was a merchant, and we are now in the 1700s. He actually rebelled against the Spanish. At the beginning, he actually recognized the authority of the Spanish king, but then he stopped, and he was fighting against... we had slavery down here as well, of course, because the Spanish were here. So he was fighting against discrimination and rebelling against the Spanish. We are about, I think, 40 years before the actual independence, and a lot of Latin America, they actually became independent because of Napoleon. Because Napoleon, they were actually kind of okay with the crown in Spain, but when Napoleon took over Spain for a little while, and he put I think it was his brother on the Spanish throne, Latin America was like, no, we don't want this guy on the throne. But that's in the 1820s. So Tupac was 40 years earlier. He had some uprising, and a lot of people followed him. Actually, they were all executed on the square. Um, Tupac was quartered, so one of his legs would have been attached to a horse, or maybe a llama. No, I think it was a horse, because the Spanish, they had horses. And the second leg to a second horse, one arm to, well, you know what I mean, four different limbs to four different animals, and the animals would be done to different directions. So that's what happened to Tupac. His wife, Micaela, was also a rebel. And Micaela, I think she was meant to be garroted. Um, but that didn't go down well, so they ended up kicking her to death. So that's the horrible executions that happened there in 1781. There's another lady that was also that was garroted. I might have a little yes. So this is the garrote. So some of you might know it's the most conventional way of execution in the Spanish Rex. Um, it can be fairly quick, but the thing is, it's not sized. It's not sized up to the person on the chair. So sometimes, if you're too big or too short for the chair, it can take forever to kill you, and it can be very painful. So that's what happened to the other lady that was garroted as well with Tupac. Her name was Tomosa Tito. So some very brutal executions. And the last execution I didn't mention, well, not the last, it was actually one of the first ones, but this is Diego de Almagro. Diego was one of the conquistadors. He was actually pretty much like the... oh, by the way, about Tupac, the building behind it there, that's a former prison. Today it's a court of justice, but down the basement they used to have a prison. That's where Tupac was held prisoner before to be killed. Anyway, Diego de Almagro, he was garroted as well, but in the 16th century. Diego was one of the leader in the conquistadors, but he was actually an enemy of Francisco Pizarro. You might have heard of Pizarro. He was like the main. Right, it should be better. I've just left a street with big Inca walls. I think we're back, but I'm not gonna say anything interesting until you tell me in the chat that we are indeed back. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me properly. Oopsie. Are we back? Better now. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Tish. Back. Okay, perfect. Lovely. So yeah, the last execution I didn't mention on the square. It is Diego de Almagro. He was one of the enemies of Francisco Pizarro, the famous conquistador. Pizarro is known for beating the Incas and being the first emperor of the first ruler of what they called New Castile. So Pizarro had an enemy with Diego, and Diego actually raised a bit of an army, really, and they captured in Lima. They captured Pizarro, and they killed him. He was assassinated, Pizarro, in Lima. Oh, thank you very much, Linda. That's very much appreciated. So Pizarro was killed, and after that, Diego was found guilty of killing Pizarro, and Diego de Almagro was executed on the square as well. He was garroted, so he was put on the chair with the piece of metal in your neck. He was garroted, I think, in 1538. So that was the beginning, really, of the Spanish garroting people on that square. So the square has seen everything from the celebrations to the sun to the most horrific executions, and it's still the main square today. So I'm guessing if they won the World Cup, that's probably where the party would be. Now, let me show you. We kind of briefly mentioned earlier a temple of gold. That's the one here. I'm just going to cross over the street so you can see a bit better. Well, there's not much to see of the temple, I'm afraid, because the Spanish Well, the Spanish, they used a lot of the stones to build the cathedral and other churches as well. And they, of course, stole all the gold. There was a lot of gold in this temple. Today it is a church from the Dominicans, but let me cross over. Oops. So this was the site of a temple that was, well, Coricancha, that would translate into Temple of Gold. You had a lot of gold, but when I say a lot, this little area there was full of human-sized golden llamas. There was a golden wall. I mean, the Incas had a lot of gold. On the mural here, you can see the crest again. We talked about the crest here. That's the same you see on the coins. So yeah, they stole the gold and they built a church, of course. You have two museums. Well, there's one museum there to the right, and you can also go inside of the church to see the Inca ruins. Well, it took a while apparently. The Dominicans in the church, they did not want to let the Ministerio de Cultura, the culture ministry, they didn't want to let people in the church to see the Inca ruins. Now you can. It cost about 20 soles, and you can go and see those remaining Inca walls inside of the church itself. We've lost a few people. I'm guessing it's because of the signal. Is the signal back to normal now? Hopefully it is. If not, let me know in the chat so I don't say anything too interesting until the signal is completely back. So this is the entrance there to the church. Yes, I'm in Latin America. We are in Cusco. Although apparently we pronounce it wrong. Cusco, apparently the K, so the local language here, it's called Quechua. Of course they speak Spanish, but the original language was Quechua. And apparently in Quechua you've got the C's or the K, it's in your throat, in the back of your throat, like a K. I cannot even do it. So apparently every time we say Cusco, we don't actually pronounce it right. Hi, Barbara. And welcome everyone that just joined. Now, I'm a bit worried about this one, because this is also a little street with tight walls, so hopefully the signal would stay with us. And you can see there's a cool little draining system in the middle. I'm guessing that is Inca. The Incas, we are really in the old city center where the Inca city was. And let's go and see the very little bits remaining of an Inca palace. Yes, I should run in case the signal drops again. Although, I don't know if I have enough oxygen here to run. I've not even tried running. I don't think I could do a jog. Well, I don't jog anywhere, but I'm not sure I'll have enough oxygen to do a jog. And welcome everyone that just joined. Welcome to Cusco in Peru. We are in the heart of the old city. And let me show you through the glass here. You see a little bit of the remains of an Inca palace. The window is a bit dirty, I'm afraid. And then we'll head down towards the area with a lot of little shops and the touristy stuff. Oh, there was a little bird under my feet. It's up there now. Is it a bit clearer here? Yes. So this was an Inca palace. I think you can go and visit it, but not at this. The Incas, by the way, so we just mentioned earlier, they didn't have money. They did not have the will. So you can wonder, how on earth did they manage to move those huge stones to build Machu Picchu or whatever it might be. Debatable nowadays. They have noticed, so the Inca emperors or notable people, let me show you a bit more of the palace before we go. They have started to notice like a pattern in the fabric. You know, they have those little squares of illustration in the fabrics, and some of those squares repeat themselves. Says Sakade, oh sorry, that's probably because of the signal, Mr. Zaknik, I'm afraid. Hopefully the signal will get better. Let me cross over. So yeah, they've noticed a pattern, or sometimes illustrations repeating themselves, and some professionals believe that it might be a language. Oh no, you've lost the sound. I'm gonna try not to say anything interesting until you tell me that we are back. Oh, are we? You've got the sound. Okay, good. So yeah, some people believe that those little design in the fabric might be a language. And there's another thing that might be a language. I'll show you. I've got a picture. We've got perfect. We're back. Media. So see those little strings of rope with a lot of little knots. They for many years we believed that they were a way of accounting, like just accounting for goods or money, or well, they didn't have money, but goods or whatever. But some researchers today, they're actually studying that at the University of Salt Lake City in the US. They believe it's not only for accounting, they believe this is a language, this is a form of written codes. So they are working right now on decoding it. There've been a bit of research published just last year actually, but they're still working on it. So in a few years or in a few months, we might, oh perfect, good Cindy, good to hear. We might have, let me show you some interesting goods over here. This is all coca, they call it coca caramels. So those are sweets with coca leaves inside. And those are the coca leaves. Right, let's go. So the coca leaves are very good to help you with the altitude sickness. US that are a bit scared of taking coca leaves because you could go home and taste positive for cocaine. I don't care. I mean, I'm not a pilot or anything. I don't need to be tested for cocaine. But yeah, coca leaves can really help if you're struggling to breathe. You can chew, or you could have it as a tea as well. And it does help. I've not been struggling too much in this trip, but when I was in the north of Argentina about 10 years ago, I did feel really bad with the altitude. I was on a bus and apparently I was white, like proper white. So some people gave me coca leaves to chew, and it did make me feel better fairly quickly. And well, you know, actually at the time of the slaves over here, they didn't want to give them coca at first, but then they had to because people could work better, you know. Yes, there are so many clothing shops, very affordable. To give you an idea, my jumper, well, it's fake, but I paid less than 15 pounds. And I bought a big fleece as well that's meant to be made with sheep. I paid 82 soles, probably about 18 pounds. Well, with a bit of negotiating, of course. But yeah, coca leaves can be, it can be a bit of a relief. If you're a bit scared about testing positive, or there's also another plant called munya. They make a tea with munya. I've had a lot of munya teas. It is also said to be helping with the altitude as well as with tummy aches or anything like that. And the munya, I don't know why we don't see it abroad. I don't think munya is illegal abroad. Coca leaves would be. The coca leaves, you're not even meant to take them from one country to the other. For example, I'm going to Bolivia tonight. Although coca leaves are perfectly allowed in Bolivia as well, you're not really meant to take them from one country to the next for some reason. Anyway, you're gonna start to hear my breathing now because it's a bit up a hill. But there we are in front of an Inca wall. So this is Inca, this is original. You see, they have those stones that are amazingly placed together with no cement, nothing. They're literally just like bricked up together, a bit like Lego system. Those little bits there, we don't really know for sure what it is for. It might have been used to drag the stones, you know. Remember, they did not have the wheel. So to bring a big piece of stone like this one here anywhere, they would have a lot of human labor dragging those stones on rocks, like rounded rocks. Potentially like we did in Stonehenge, really, in the UK. And so this is Inca, and this is Inca Pass. This is a bit of a local joke between the tour guides and stuff. So this is original Inca. You can see the labor. You can see how they fit all together perfectly. And this is Inca Pass. Inca Pass, it means incapable in Spanish, because this is fake. It is the same stone, so they would have got pieces of stone from Inca stuff, but they've tried to rebuild whatever was lost. But you can see they had to introduce some kind of cement, and you can see it's not all fitting together. We only see the outside, of course, but inside it's a bit like a Lego brick. They actually kind of brick up themselves. Anyway, so that's a nice Inca wall. Let's try to go up towards San Blas. I'll try to get you up to a nice little viewpoint. If indeed the signal stays with us, because my friend Mike was saying the signal is not good down there. On the other side, we're not gonna go simply because there are so many people taking selfies. There's a stone that's quite famous because it's got 12 angles. I'm not gonna show you because everyone is always there taking a selfie. This one got 12 as well. Oh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oh, perfect. And it's not as famous as the other one. Yeah. 12, 9, 12, 9, 11. Let's see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, sir. Where are you from? I'm French originally, but I live in the UK. Thank you. See, the famous one is right around the corner where people take selfies and stuff. But there's another one with 12 corners. It's amazing, the architecture, really. And I think, if I remember right, there was one little Paddington here somewhere. I was very surprised not to see more Paddingtons. Because of course for us in the UK, Paddington comes from Peru, right? It's one of their big. It's been sold. Paddington was here next to the Grinch. I think someone bought my Paddington. There is a bear, but it's not Paddington, is it? Oh no, here's Paddington. You're hiding away. So yeah, I was expecting to see many more Paddington bears everywhere because, well, in London they are everywhere, you know, especially since you probably remember when Queen Elizabeth II, before the Jubilee, she did a video with another alpaca, but we had a baby one. Oh no, I'm not sure it was an alpaca we took a photo with. It might have been another animal. Thank you. So yeah, you can see a lot of clothing. I actually like this jumper here, but I've already bought 2 jumpers, no need. So yeah, I would have expected, oh, there's another Paddington. We found 2 next to Spider-Man. Yeah, when you go down to London, in every single gift shop, you have tons of Paddington bears because he's become such a such a royal symbol, especially since the video between. Oh, there's another one. But same level as Star Wars and Luigi from Mario Bros. Is not any more famous here than any other characters. When he should be, he's from here. Well, technically he's from Paddington in London, but in the fiction he's from here. Now, bear with me on that one. I might be semi-silent on that hill because it's gonna be difficult to breathe. But we want to go all the way up. Oh, somewhere on this street they did Paddington chocolate, but they were out of stock. I did want to buy one Paddington chocolate, but no. So we are now going towards the neighborhood of Saint Blas. It's a bit like the hipster area, or at least the artsy area. I do apologize if you can hear my heavy breathing. And when I say we're nearly there, but we're not. Hopefully we could finish with a view. See, you find again those colors of the rainbow everywhere. But there's no evidence that the Incas were using those colors anyway. Right. Well, we're nearly halfway. We might have a little break somewhere. Look at those cute little streets. Just gonna let the cars go. And let's keep going. Nearly halfway. Yes, the color of the skies. And you know what? It was even more beautiful yesterday when, well, it's often quite grey because it's the rainy season, simply. And it's actually even more beautiful when it's grey and you've got the beautiful light. Right, we've made it to San Blas Church. It's not the end, we're gonna go all the way to the viewpoint. But let's have a little stop here and let's share a little treat. Well, let's share, virtually share. I'm the one having a treat, but I'll try it with you. It is the beautiful San Blas Church. Let me see in the chat if you can guess. What's gonna be my treat? Something that will, oh, it's open. Let's go and take a quick look inside. And then we'll do the treat. Try to guess in the chat what treat is my treat. Something that will make me feel better. I don't know if I'm allowed to go. I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. Oh, no phones, no photos, so I guess not. I'll show you from here. Right, let me take a seat on the steps and you tell me in the chat, can you guess what my treat is going to be? It's not Saint Blas, it's Saint Blas. So Saint Blas, Saint Blas. I don't know what Blas is in English. I guess in French it's probably Saint Blaise. So it's a saint. Ice cream? No, Pauline. It's something that should make me feel even better with the lack of oxygen. A glass of wine. Mike, you're not too far. Let's see if we get any more guesses. Not a glass of wine, I wish. Well, I don't like wine, but a glass of pisco. I've not even had a proper pisco sour. I've bought some pisco from the supermarket. Cocoa, well, you know what? It's a mix between cocoa and cocaine. No, I couldn't get the Paddington chocolate. I actually wanted to, Linda, but it was out of check. Pisas, yes, it is a type of chocolate. Let me show you. It is a coca chocolate. So I've not tried. I was waiting for you to try it. Exactly. It is a chocolate with cocoa leaves. So we'll try together. I've not, obviously they have a lot of cacao here. When I was in the jungle, actually, I ate some cacao straight from the cacao fruit. Um, Now, you're gonna have to bear with me. This is gonna be tricky because usually when I do this type of things, I would have my little tripod. So I would put you down and use my second hand. But my little tripod got stolen, as well as my microphone and everything that got stolen in the bus in Ecuador. So I'm gonna struggle to open it, but we'll try this together. Let's see. Thank you, Barbara. And this cost me 3 soles. So that's less than $1. It's probably like I want to say 80 cents, maybe 75 cents, maybe. Sorry, that's not very elegant, but I've got only one hand. Put that in my bag. I mean, the rubbish. Sorry, I know I'm a bit slow. Apologies. It's just, I just wish I had my tripod. Right. Kind of managed to get it out. Hold on. I'm gonna do like this. Bear with me. That seemed like a very good idea when I bought it, but now I'm struggling to open it. I should have opened it ahead. Oh, it smells good. Ah, there we go. All right. I wish we could actually share it. I mean, not virtually, but I wish you could try as well. There we go. It's nice. I don't really feel the cocoa, to be honest. I mean, the coca. I can feel the cocoa, but not the coca. But it's nice. It's a very nice chocolate. They have some very good chocolate here because obviously it goes down here. But yeah, lovely. So now, hopefully, with the chocolate and the coca, I should have enough energy to take you all the way up. Let's go. I'm just gonna put this in my bag. There we go. I'll save. Right. I'll save a bit for my friend because she wanted to try as well. Right. Let's flip the camera around. And let's go to the viewpoint of Saint Blas. Thanks for sharing. Yes. You see a lot of security and police. Cusco is it feels very safe. Well, I mean, there can be a bit of corruption and stuff. I read that last year. There's a mother and her son driving down from Puerto Maldonado, so that's the jungle where I was, all the way down to Cusco, where they were stopped by the police. 6 officers stop and search, and the police actually stole 10,000 soles from them. That's over $2,000, and they run away in their police cars, with the alarm on and everything. They were caught by their colleagues. They were caught by the police as well. But yes, there can be a bit of corruption. Now, we could go up that way, but I think the next one is nicer. Let's go down the next one. There was it is. I think it's much safer than Ecuador, but still, there can be some. There was a British girl from Grimsby that a couple of years ago was. Well, she basically was a backpacker like myself. She was in her 30s. She came for a yoga retreat, and she was the victim of a very violent attack, a robbery. They took her passport, they took her money, they took everything, and she was completely traumatized. She ended up living under a bridge with a homeless gentleman, and the British embassy and stuff would try to come and help, but she refused any help from any stranger. Um, uh, so that's yeah, you can see some tragic stories. Anyway, I love this one. This is a coffee, El Café Te Llama. So llama, of course, but llama is calling. So in Spanish, so the coffee is calling you. We're nearly there. There's a lot of street art and murals in this area as well. It's the artisty neighborhood. I don't really feel my coca yet. Nearly there, nearly there. What do I do for you? I've already gone up 4 times yesterday. Right. I swear it is worth it. We'll finish with a beautiful view. It wouldn't be that hard if we were down in London, but at 300 and 400 meters of altitude, it's hard to find the oxygen. Right, nearly there. Apologies if I'm not talking too much, but you existed for me. What made me select Peru as a visit? Well, the friend I'm traveling with is quite well traveled, so it's sometimes difficult to find locations none of us have been. Oh, a little cat. Hey, mate, do you want to come and say hello? Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Anyway, we've made it. We are there. Oh, we've got a doggy friend as well. You can come and do a love lock if you want. I actually have a spare lock because when they stole from my bag, they stole the spare key, so I cannot use my lock anymore. Because when you have only one key, it's a bit dangerous. So I could come and do a love lock, but I don't have a lover. So, and usually when you have a love lock, you have a river to throw the key in. There's no river here. Well, there's one a bit further down, but not here. Exactly, Baba. Un gato, un gatito. Right, we're not actually quite all the way up to the top. Let's go all the way up there. And that's where we'll finish the tour. So it was a bit of a long one today. But you know what? It's better because I had to spend a bit of money on, £10 buying internet data. So I better make the most of it. Right, let's go. And you can see many more love locks up there. Right. Here we are at another viewpoint over the beautiful city of Cusco. You can see all the way down towards the airport. The airport is actually quite close to the city center, which is a bit dangerous actually. They're building a new airport now in Chinchero. That's the place where they do all the alpaca jumpers because they don't want to have the planes flying right over people's home. So if you come to Cusco in a few years, you won't land in Cusco itself. You'll land in Chinchero. Thank you guys. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So if you want to see a bit more of my trip, next week we're heading down to Sucre in Bolivia. But before we go, let me show you a bit of street art. If the signal allows, because it's a tiny little street, but there are some beautiful murals, and then that'll be the end of the tour. Right, all this wall is covered with murals. You've got an Inca chief here with what I'm guessing is a puma. It could also be a wildcat, but the puma is more sacred. And I'm guessing those are the heads of Spaniards. I wish I could play chess. I don't know how to play, but in the souvenir stuff, they often sell some chessboard. It's the Incas against the Spanish. So that sounds fun. Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for coming today. Let me show you the full wall. And here is a colibri or what is it called? Hummingbird in English. In many languages, it's a colibri. Oh, thanks, Pauline. That's very, very much appreciated. It is really thanks to your generosity that I can spend time doing research and buying new microphones when they get stolen and stuff like that. So thank you very much. Luckily, I won't have to buy a new tripod because I've got a spare in London. What happened is when I bought a new gimbal for Christmas, second-hand gimbal, I received it and it was the wrong one, the wrong model. So I tried it, didn't like it, took it back to the shop. They gave me the money back. And then I bought the one I wanted. And then I went to bin the, oh, thank you, Samantha. That's very much appreciated. As I got my money back and got back home, I went to bin, the carton, the box, I put it in the recycling. I had stored it before because I thought, if I have to send the gimbal back. And as I was putting it in the bin, I realized there was something inside. It was a little tripod, which was great because I already got my money back. So, and I kept it. I was like, oh, if I need a spare, if I lose my tripod, and I was like, how am I going to lose my tripod? Well, little did I know that it was going to get stolen on a bus in Ecuador. So at least I don't have to buy a new tripod. I've got one in London. Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks, Laurie. And I will leave you with an Inca ninja turtle. Thanks everyone for coming today. It's always a pleasure to have so many of you on board. Oh, thanks, Samantha. Let me flip this camera around. And we've actually been fairly lucky with signal. I know it dropped down at some point, but because Mike was telling me it's quite bad up here, so we've been fairly lucky. So thanks everyone for coming today. If any of you were completely new to me, if you've made it that far into the video or into the live, you might want to consider subscribing. It's the best way to see the live. Because if you don't subscribe or if you don't hit the notification bell, you might miss the live. You might end up watching the replay, which is fun as well, but it's more fun to be live and to be able to interact in the chat and everything. So if you enjoy live walks in general, you might want to subscribe and hit the little notify me bell. This way you'll be notified, hopefully, when I go live next. So the next one is in Sucre, in Bolivia. And after that, I'll get back to London. I'm going to wait until I get another new microphone, a proper microphone, before to schedule some more in London. But hopefully that shouldn't take too long. Thank you, Mark. Oh, perfect. Great to hear. Thank you, Linda. Thanks everyone for coming tonight. Hopefully I'll see some of you in Bolivia in about 8 days, I think. What day is today? Wednesday? I think it's next Thursday or next Friday, maybe. So in just over a week, we'll go down to Sucre. Thank you, Kyle. Thanks everyone for coming. And have a great evening or a great morning, a great night. If you are in the UK, it's quite late for you. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, the microphone worked as well. Good. I'll be, whenever I'm on Wi-Fi, I'm going to try to listen to see how the wind, because those microphones, they're really, really worth it for the wind. Because it was a bit windy down there. I don't know if you've heard it. Well, anyway, even if it was good enough here, it wouldn't be good enough for London. Because in London, sometimes we have some crazy wind. So I'll have to buy a new one anyway. But I'll buy it secondhand. So hopefully I could get one for like £30 or something. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day or rest of your night, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.